Before I begin, I just want to say I expected this game to be an action game, just not a first-person shooter, although I've been hearing mixed reports on whether or not it is an actual first-person shooter as opposed to a third-person shooter. Regardless, I was expecting an action game, not an always online $30 action game, but nonetheless an action game. Capcom, do you really think I want to spend $30 for an always online game? You might as well just make this free to play. Not to mention, I don't even think this game is getting a physical release, so yeah, $30 for a digital game that's always online. I don't know. You keep that, Capcom. You can keep that Resident Evil game, you know? And, you know, that game could be potentially good as its own standalone thing, you know? It could be a somewhat decent to a good game compared to Operation Raccoon City when we're talking about action-based spin-off Resident Evil games, you know? It could be good. You know, but that being said, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to play an always online game. Let alone for $30, I mean, you know, like if it was free to play, that'd be another story. I'd jump all over that because it's free to play. I will be fair and say that this game could potentially be better than Operation Raccoon City, but all that being put aside, this kind of just looks like a generic first-person shooter. Although, again, I'm not entirely sure if it is a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter. I've been getting mixed reports on that. That being said, it's almost like I think it was Dagger that told me it or said it. It's almost like they use Resident Evil as a brand, at least for this particular game. And, you know, at this point, you might as well expect Resident Evil go-kart racing if they're just going to keep making side games like this. And that's not to say I'm against action-based Resident Evil games if they're on the side and within their own, like, universe that somehow tie into the Resident Evil universe. Like, I'd be totally fine with that. You know, it just doesn't seem like this works. You know, like, I don't think this is how it should be done. And I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm trying to brag or anything about this, but I somewhat predicted this would happen in the sense that I thought that Umbrella Corps was going to be the ORC of this generation, in the sense that we're getting Resident Evil 0 HD, we're getting Resident Evil 2 Remake, and then we're getting Umbrella Corps. And Resident Evil 2 Remake is probably going to be the one game that everyone really enjoys. 0, maybe not so much. And then Umbrella Corps is going to be that one shit tier game that everyone wants to avoid like it's the plague. And it's, on one hand, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's kind of to be expected with a game like this. And I mean, unless if they announce Resident Evil 7, in which case Resident Evil 7 would be like the next Resident Evil 6, which, let's hope it's not like Resident Evil 6. It is what it is. I just wanted to share some brief thoughts on this. I will share some extended thoughts on the podcast once TGS is over, which would probably be the following week when we do our podcast and get all the information we possibly can and cover that there. So if you want to hear my extended thoughts, then just wait for that to happen. But here are my brief thoughts on this shit tier announcement, and hopefully you all enjoyed this video. If you don't already, you can follow me on Google+, Twitter, and on Twitch, and I'll see you guys next time.